Hey everybody, Sydney here again today. I wanted to talk about transitions. A transition is essentially the task between tasks. It is the movement from point A to point B. Tasks are technically point A and point B. Transitions often seem very intuitive to most people. However, if you have ADHD, they're probably not intuitive. And if they are intuitive, they're painfully intuitive. They take a lot of effort. Why would that be? When you have ADHD, you struggle with dopamine regulation. And what that means is your brain doesn't reward you for the things that most people's brains would reward them for. Such an example is a transition. Most people probably enjoy transitions. They find them relaxing. However, if you have ADHD, you probably don't like transitions. You probably procrastinate on transitions. You find them obnoxious and overwhelming. And there's a few reasons why that would be. Transitions involve a lot of minor details. Usually, those of us with ADHD we don't like the little itty bitty details. It involves a lot of focus, just a lot of, like I said, focus, but a lot of focus on like the little itty bitty things. Now, when you have ADHD, you're usually more, you struggle to focus on little tiny details because that involves focus. And focus is an issue because one thing that helps people focus is having popular, I know about popular, do you? As I was saying, focus involves zoning in on the little itty bitty detail, keeping track of the little itty bitty detail. And if there's lots of itty bitty details, then you're also hardcore keeping track of all of those, thinking about them. And that's all the stuff that people with ADHD are awful at. And that is what a transition is. A transition classic is just leaving your house. You have to make sure you have all of the things you need: your purse, your shoes, your clothes, your makeup done, your keys, all this kind of stuff. And if you have ADHD, a sure sign of inattentiveness, specifically, is forgetting all the little things. You show up to work and you forgot your wallet again. You show up to class and you forgot your homework again. And so transitions are where all that little nitty-gritty stuff happens. And if you struggle with transitions, you're probably not going to have what you need to have for the main event. Now, how do I, as a woman with ADHD who lives her life, how do I manage transitions? Because to be honest with you, a transition is around anything you do. It's relentless. Like, for example, I am making this video. How did I transition from not making the video to making it? Well, here are some of my tips on how to transition well when you have ADHD. Number one, make it stupid simple. And I'm talking stupid. Can you do it on your worst day? If you cannot, don't try to transition like that. A thing I do for work is I predetermine the simplest way I can get ready. And that is do the minimum amount of showering, because I work out in the morning, so I shower off my sweat, but it's not a serious shower. I get out of the shower, I dry off, I put on lotion, deodorant, whatever. I wear the simplest thing I can wear. As a woman, it's more than just pants and a shirt. I wish I was a guy sometimes, but I wear the simplest thing I can wear that I can put on my body, but also be effective at work because I have an active job. And I basically have my purse that has a lot of pockets, and I make sure everything's in its pocket I try to make sure it's always in its pocket, gosh darn it, which I thought I could never do. But what I've learned is if I just put things back in their pockets, like that's
Subway's now slicing their meat.
Subway. So there's construction in the house across from us, the apartment. So I was playing that video of rain to drown it out, and I was hoping there wasn't going to be a YouTube ad, but now there was. It's okay. Sorry guys. Back to the rain. Yes. Now I have to remember where I was. Whew. I believe I was talking about, I know I was talking about transitions. Oh, making things easy and simple. Okay, so yeah, I have a routine that I do that is like the bare minimum, but I know that it's like what I need and what will make me comfortable. Yes. Number 2 would be prioritize. And this might sound like the first one, but it's not, because prioritizing involves like what's the most important thing. So with a transition, I know in terms of working out that I would rather spend longer working out than showering. So I'm going to prioritize a short shower over a long shower. Or I know that I don't care about looking like a model with my hair and makeup at work. So I'm gonna prioritize the absolute basics, a short routine, because what I value more is like journaling, reading my Bible, more than I value a beautiful aesthetic on my face. So those are just examples where you're gonna make decisions of where to put your time and effort over others depending on like what you want. So if someone who wasn't like me, like say they love wearing lots of makeup, which is awesome. Sometimes I wish I was that way. That maybe they would prioritize, a shorter workout in the morning, but give themselves more time to put on makeup and stuff. Now, it depends on like what are you trying to do, right? And then a third tip for transitions is make it as fun as humanly possible. What do you like? What helps you do something that you hate doing? If that's a TV show, if that's a YouTube video, if that's a podcast, if that's music, if that's dancing as you do it, if that's talking to someone on the phone, if it's scrolling Instagram, if that's talking to yourself. There's so many different things. You can make it a game. That's kind of what I do. This is a huge issue for me. It's something I've worked on, something maybe I'll make a video about when I get a little better at it. But time management is huge for me. I struggle with time constantly, but one of the biggest helps for time for me has been treating things like a game. So usually it's because I technically don't have more time, but it's like, how fast can I shower? How fast can I put them? How fast? And with that perspective, it can help you not force yourself to engage in something you hate doing for longer than possible. It's literally a game of how fast you can do it. So there's lots of ways to make it fun. Just know yourself. A good example is like for working out. Well, never mind. I will refrain this from this example because that is merging concepts. No, Sydney, no. I got my spaghetti brain going like it usually is there, but we're trying to keep it somewhat blocked off, not just complete spaghetti. Yeah, so transitions. I think maybe like a fourth tip would be kind to yourself. Transitions are hard when you have ADHD, and so accept that, admit that, and whenever you transition well, have rewards set up for yourself. Rewards. How are you rewarded? To be honest with you guys, I haven't created a good system of rewards for myself. I'm horrible at rewarding myself, but I think because of how my brain operates, usually telling myself like, hey, I love you, I care about you, good job today with that transition, that's usually enough for me, because I'm usually telling myself the opposite. I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing that as well. So I'm an encourager, and so encouraging myself is rewarding to me. But you can also, if you love video games, like if you transition well, maybe you can have a little time before the actual task begins to play a little game on your phone. Or, if you transition well, maybe you can have, if you like meditation, maybe you can have a little time before the actual task starts, but after your transition to where you meditate. Maybe you love reading books, so you transition and you read a book and then you start your task. That can be a good way to help yourself feel like you're not just working towards the tasks that maybe you hate, you're also working towards a task that you enjoy before you do the thing you hate. So I hope that some of this was helpful. Well, I hope all of it was helpful, but let's be real here. I wanted to do a video on transitions, and I don't think this will be my last, because if you look up information on the internet about transitions, most of the time, like in regards to ADHD, most of the time it is about big life transitions. There's a few sources on the little itty bitty transitions we have to engage with on a daily basis, but there's not enough out there. In my opinion, if you have ADHD, transitions are the bane of your existence. And I don't think they get enough credit for how difficult they are, which goes back to being kind to yourself. They are so difficult. Oh my gosh. And I think that, there's my last tip. I almost forgot it, is I think minimizing the number of transitions you have to do in a day are going to be so helpful for you. Don't ever try to do all the things on one day, because all those different things are going to require all the different transitions as well. That's going to be very mean to yourself, and you're going to hate everything. I'm guilty of that on my days off. I think I can do all these different things, but then I forget all the transitions in between all those things, and then I didn't enjoy my day off at all, and I didn't accomplish all that I wanted to. So it's sad. It's very sad. Don't do that to yourself. I like to realize different modes I'm in. So, for example, I don't think I would do well working multiple jobs, because there's different mindsets you have to get in for all those jobs, and time in between and all that kind of stuff, driving, traffic. So right now I just have one full-time job, and that's really helpful for me, because I know that for work I just have one job, and whenever I go to work, I'm not thinking about how I have to transition from this job to the other job. There's technically fewer transitions within one thing versus breaking it up. Yes. So, as much as you can, as much as is good for you, because we're all different. Maybe some of y'all love having multiple jobs. If that's the case, go for that. Maybe having to do laundry multiple times a week because you're having to transition from laundry multiple times is too much for you. And so maybe trying to do laundry just once a week would be helpful. I know for me, my brain really likes big projects over little projects. Because the little projects are like, I feel like once I'm finished with it, I'm just now getting my head around it. But with big projects, I feel like I'm rewarded for the energy I've put in, and it builds on itself. And that is actually one more tip. The last tip, the actual last tip of last tips, is get the ball rolling. When you have ADHD, momentum is everything. And this is one of my favorite ones because you start to feel it. It's not just you're nickel and diming yourself in terms of effort and dopamine. You start to get into it. And so with a transition, if you can just start, for example, if you're waking up and you don't want to get up, just remove the cover a little bit. Just put your toes on the floor, just sit up, just breathe for a second. Just get up, walk to the bathroom, use the bathroom, wash your hands, look at yourself in the mirror. Just do that. And that's literally like transitioning, right, is always the beginning and the end, but there's a transition to the transition, right? Which is putting your feet on the floor, which is the worst part. But if you can do that, the rest of the transition is going to be so much easier. It's still going to be painful, but it's not going to be near as painful. Reward yourself for the little steps within the steps. Because you really are, when you have ADHD, usually if you start something, man, you're a beast. Like you'll keep going and going and going and going. And you don't know what you can do until you start something. So this was a rambly video as normal. And I really appreciate you listening to it and being present with me. I care about you out there. I hope the best for you. And I hope that transitioning is less painful for you going forward. See you guys next time.